We're live at T-Mobile Park. The thing about 2022, when they ended the drought, it felt like they were rounding first and heading for home with playoff glory. But then things came to a stop. The last 2 years, they've fallen one game short of the postseason. Difficult to take, but even on this last day, the Mariners were proving they fight to the finish. And what a game it was. You would never know this matchup with the Oakland A's was a game that had no playoff implications. They were showing all sorts of effort. And I love Justin Turner. He's been a great locker room voice for this team. Ends up hitting one off the wall to the outfield and ends up bringing home a couple of runs right there. So the Mariners are in business. Again, their play on the field would never show you that they're out of the playoff race. But here we go. Julio Rodriguez adds a run as well. You could feel the energy. Over 42,000 fans at this one for what was on paper a meaningless matchup. Now, Cal Raleigh makes the history Ryan was talking about a moment ago. Another home run on the last day of the year. He passes Mike Piazza for the most home runs by a catcher in their first 4 major league seasons. 93 of them. How about it? He also has 100 RBI. The first Mariners catcher to do that. The M's win this finale 6-4. Now, I asked Cal, what is it about this team that gives him optimism for a postseason return in 2025?
I think the obvious thing is, Dan and Edgar.
Well, if seeing is believing, one game out. So difficult to think about. One game changing Seattle from being in absolute euphoria in the playoffs this week to being sort of downtrodden. But you heard what Cal Raleigh said. My question was about what makes him optimistic for their hopes in 2025. He immediately went to the impact of Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez. A full season of Wilson, and hopefully Edgar lies ahead next year. The Mariners winning 8 of their last 10 here in 2024. Perhaps it becomes something more often. We'll have to wait 6 months to see. Now, hopefully the Seahawks can raise our spirits Monday night football, a huge showdown you can only watch here on Como. The Detroit Lions hosting the Hawks. Now listen, Seattle undefeated 3-0 of course, but this is the true test, maybe a barometer if you will, for what we can expect the rest of the way. As far as this game itself is concerned, DK Metcalf already knows what's lying in wait.
I think the one thing that sticks out even when watching film this year is
All right, well, back here, T-Mobile Park, we're full of high hopes after what Cal Raleigh said for 2025. So maybe this is the year they can finally bring it home, go to their first World Series. But in the meantime, this is the last baseball for the next 6 months. We're going to ride off into the sunset. We'll see you at T-Mobile Park in March. I'm Niko Tamurian. Back to you.
That is the live shot of the ages.
All right, well, we're here with the Texas Longhorns, and we're going to ask them the most important question, not the X's and O's about the Huskies or who's going to win on Monday, but if they know some Seattle landmarks here. So let's start with our most iconic structure. And you guys know what this is?
The Needle.
Yeah. Anybody want to be a little more specific?
It's the Needle.
I'm guessing some sort of donor, little, maybe a club dinner event. I'm not sure.
Okay, I've definitely seen that before.
Okay.
I've seen that in Grey's Anatomy.
There you go. Well
Yeah,
played.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but I've definitely seen it.
It's the Space Needle. All right, what about this one, guys?
Oh, that's
Mount Rushmore.
No.
One of y'all's most iconic mountains.
That's very true. Do you know the name?
I don't know.
Seattle Tip. Just say the mountain.
The mountain.
Nah, I don't know what that's called. I don't know what mountain that is.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, Mount Rainier.
Mount Rainier?
And I was just telling a couple of your teammates that just say the mountain if you're in Seattle. They'll know what it is. Here you go. What about this one? Let's get weird.
Gumwall.
The gum wall.
Look at this. We're like
easy word.
2.5 out of 3 here so far. I like this.
Some sort of mouth-looking shaped and with gum.
Gum wall.
You got it.
Yeah.
Well played. Where did you hear about the gum wall before?
Again, I only saw that. I see stuff like that in Grey's Anatomy.
What about this one?
That's next to the gum wall.
Correct.
But
Public Market Center.
yep. That's where they sell all the fish, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what it's called, though.
Is that one of the oldest farmers markets?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, Pike Place Market.
Public Market Center?
Yeah, Pike Place Market. And here's our last one.
Oh, no, I don't know what that is.
What in the world? I have no idea. My guess is as good as yours.
But this is going to be probably your toughest one so far.
Oh, the trail under the bridge.
Bro,
What's it called,
Bro,
though?
you locked in, bro. You locked in.
I took a picture on it this one.
Called the Fremont Troll.
Fremont Trail.
And now, the Como Sports Desk with Niko Tamurian, presented by Xfinity.
The Mariners needed a hero. Yeah, they found one tonight. Really, they found several. With the M's reeling on the road, they had to have a win, and they got it to close out this grueling road trip. It was a game that had our attention from start to finish. Mariners get that much-needed early lead. They haven't been able to do that. J.P. Crawford with the base hit. It scores Dylan Moore from third there, off former Mariner, by the way, Yusei Kikuchi. 1-0 Mariners, and it stays that way for a while. Thanks to Logan Gilbert. What a game, 7 2/3 innings, 8 strikeouts, including, as you see right here, striking out the side in the 5th inning. He's been great so far this season. He doesn't get the win, though, because of one mistake late. And listen, this guy causes a lot of pitchers to make mistakes. Vlad Guerrero Jr., it's a solo shot that ties this thing up at 1 run apiece. So we go to extra innings. Now, think about this. Before this game, the Mariners had not scored more than 5 runs in any full game. Yeah, they score 5 in the 10th inning alone tonight. Clutch Cal Raleigh. It's a rocket out to right field, a 2-run blast that opens the floodgates. My goodness, Cal Raleigh. Mariners win it 6-1. What a night.
Again, this ballpark, really against the Blue Jays, Cal Raleigh has been fantastic.
I am so glad you mentioned that, Scott, because Cal's clutch home run was the difference in this game. First of all, just watch this thing sell out. That is a thing of beauty right there. But he has done this to the Blue Jays a lot before. See, the numbers here are pretty staggering when you think about it. In 15 career games against the Blue Jays, Cal has 9 home runs. It's an incredible feat, especially considering maybe a little trash talk. You see, Jays manager John Schneider said of Cal, quote, "He's not very tough to pitch against." Well, John, maybe he is. Now, here's the deal. There's 2 sides to every story. Our celebration in Seattle tonight was downright despair in Toronto. Let's take a look at this. These are all posts on X from Jays fans, and they're all full of anger. Some of them are actually downright hilarious. I like this one. This user saying that his fellow Jay fans need to find a way to, yes, frame Cal of some crimes. Nothing serious, but just something that'll be able to keep him from coming over to cross the border. That's creative, if not extreme. Now, this one's a little more timid, hoping that Cal has poor sleep, stubs his toes, thing that would really annoy you on any trip, let alone one playing the Blue Jays in Toronto. Now, one Toronto fan says, "Whoever pledges to ban Cal Raleigh from Canada will have my vote in the next election." Okay, then. And finally, there was a lot of these. Yeah, that says it all right there. Hey, mark it down. Toronto comes to return the series here in Seattle in July. And as if Cal couldn't endear himself further to Mariner fans, he's joining a fundraiser set up by Scott and Jill Service tomorrow night. It's called All Paws on Deck. It's to raise money to help animals in Eastern Washington. It's at Moss Bay Hall in Kirkland tomorrow. So there you go. Hitting homers, helping pets. That's a week, Cal Raleigh.
Over an hour from kickoff now, with the Huskies looking for their first national title since 1991.
And the anticipation, it is high as the Huskies look to complete that perfect 15-0 season with a big victory against the Michigan Wolverines. We have team coverage. KOMO's Lynn and Wen standing by, but we begin with KOMO Sports Director Niko Tamurian live at NRG Stadium in Houston. Niko, I know the excitement is building there.
Oh, Molly and Preston, you hear the crowd. You just heard the Husky marching band. It is getting real. It's the national championship. This is what they're playing for. This is the national championship trophy. It weighs 50 pounds, but it's weighing on both of these teams heavily. It's a chance at immortality in college football. Just listen to the atmosphere around me. This is electric. Everybody in the country wants it, but only one of 2 teams will leave here tonight, and we're hoping it's the Dogs. Let's get a special preview of this game with ESPN.
Either somebody making a big play or taking advantage of a miscue will be the thing that swings it.
Reese Davis, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Now listen, Reese knows his stuff. We know that, but you want the real professional analysis? Oh yeah, we got Dubs here. Who's gonna win, Dubs? Hey, there it is. We love this dog. He was in our newsroom. I mean, Molly and Preston, how can you lose with Dubs here on the field ready to go? Oh, man, he's ready to go. The Huskies are ready to go. We have much more coming up on KOMO News at 4 o'clock. We're right now live with Dubs. I'm Niko Tamurian.
The interview of the day. Niko, thanks so much.
And now, the KOMO Sports Desk with Niko Tamurian, presented by Xfinity.
It's a battle of 2 cities, one East Coast, one, of course, here on the West. Both proud of their sports teams. So why not settle it on the field and court, starting with an epic comeback from the Mariners? It's Seattle versus New York, and it's the M's opening a new set at the New York Yankees. The Bronx Bombers take the early lead when Alex Verdugo drives in 2. It goes all the way to the corner in right field. So, yeah, the Mariners are playing catch-up. Marcus Stroman of the Yankees made it tough on them, but finally, all the way in the 8th inning, they get on the board for the first time. Dominic Canzone sends it out to deep center field. You know, since returning to the lineup 5 games ago, he's been on fire, but it's still at that point a 3-1 game. The Yankees had one to make it 4-1 in the 9th, but here come the Mariners against a closer in Clay Holmes, who hadn't given up a run all year. All year. Not one run. He gives up 4 to Seattle. That's Mitch Haniger off the end of the bat. The Mariners are down just 1. Canzone ties it with a sacrifice fly, and here comes Ty France. Perfectly placed to right field. Haniger scores. That is your go-ahead run. And to close things out with a 5-4 lead, Andres Munoz, oh my goodness, he strikes out Aaron Judge with a 101-mile-an-hour fastball. Are you kidding me? That's closing it out in style. The Mariners win in a most unexpected fashion. 5-4 was the final in the Bronx.
I don't know of anything wilder than that one.
Well, indeed they did. As you could imagine, Mariners social media was a party this afternoon. Look at all the posts, and I think a couple really tell the story of why fans were so excited. Tyler saying that is one of the craziest wins he's seen in his time watching the Mariners. They have that magic about them, don't they? This fan saying this might be, and they may be right on this, the most important win of the season. Now, time will tell on that front, but it certainly felt like a momentum shift. Now, we mentioned that Seattle versus New York battle. Here's the theme of the night. Another of our teams was in the Big Apple. It's the Storm taking on the New York Liberty. That's former Seattle star Brianna Stewart with the first basket of the game, showing why we miss her so dearly, but an eye to the future and the present for that matter. Skylar Diggins-Smith flies inside for the basket and the foul. So certainly, yes, brighter times ahead, but New York gets us here. The Liberty goes on a run the rest of the half. Hard for the Storm to keep up. It is a 74-63 final. The Storm is now 1-3 on the year. So it would appear we have a tie in this epic Monday night battle of Seattle versus New York sports. To me, that means I have to find you a tiebreaker, and to which I present our mountains. Did you know that beautiful Mount Rainier is nearly 3 times taller than New York's highest peak? That's a tiebreaker in my book, but hey, let's keep it going. If mountains aren't your thing, did you know, according to the DOT, the average work commute in New York is 33 minutes compared to just 30 here in Seattle? That's 3 minutes of your life you're not getting back in New York. And of course, you can use to just enjoy the majesty of the Pacific Northwest volcano that is 3 times as high as any peak in the Empire State. Seattle wins, the Mariners win. Let's make it 2 in a row for the M's on Tuesday.